we're going to get started. So what I want to start off with this morning is just a welcome. You are, just to make sure we're all at the right place, thriving under pressure, essential tools for stress management. Woohoo! Who is experiencing some stress today? Yeah, I know, right? Okay, so this is going to be hopefully kind of fun. So I love to teach about tools and tactics and stuff like that, and that's all cool, right? We can learn all day long, but it's going to be a little bit different today because we're going to do a little bit of doing. Okay, so we're going to actually activate some of those tools this morning by doing some of them, okay, so that they really stick. And it's not just a bunch of chatter that doesn't matter. You know what I mean? Like, because you guys can watch YouTube videos all day long, but you took time to come here this morning to not just learn, but to activate some of those tools so that they become very usable and meaningful to use stress as a tool, as to give us awareness and indicate what's going on. All right, so here's our agenda. For today, just really quick, we're going to do 3 topics. I gave you this little sheet. It is for you to take notes. It's just for you. There's no quiz that I know of. Try to make it pretty interactive if I can. So I don't think there's a quiz, but I'll give you the 3 points is right here. So the first point is going to be stress awareness. Okay, stress awareness. The second point we're going to do is practical techniques. My hopes is to spend the most time doing practical techniques. And then we're going to do thriving. The third point is thriving with wellness. Thriving with wellness. And then we'll wrap it up by summarizing what we talked about, just a little, so it kind of drives deeper into our brain so that we remember what we do and practice today so that it goes deeper in. All right, and then we'll end with some questions and answers. This is the fun part. If you don't have any questions for me at the end, I'm going to have questions for you. That's not a threat. It's just fun, all right? Because I want to see kind of your main takeaways and what jumps out to you during our time of training today. So thank you again for being here. Grace Revealed, my name is Layla Grace. Sometimes people call me Grace, which is fine. The business is called Grace Revealed. It's like a grace note in music, if any musicians are here, where you have a pause in music. It's where musicians can kind of catch their breath, and it's like, So Grace Revealed, we do wellness programs to help you avoid burnout and lower stress while actually enjoying what you do. Because I know sometimes when we're edging on burnout, we can disconnect from our careers. And then engage practical self-care strategies that you can sustain and are not just like a one-hit wonder. The things that actually they stay with you to live a better life. Okay, so that's Grace Revealed. Here we go. Okay, so I'm going to start with some little exercises. Are you guys cool with this? You don't have to participate, but I encourage you to. So I want to start with a simple one, and it's just a smile. Okay? And I want you to feel how it feels in your brain. Can you feel that? Like the top part of my brain lit up. And it actually got lighter when I saw all of you smile. Isn't that cool? And then when you smile, you can even breathe in through your nose and send the air to your brain. And then push it out through your mouth. Kind of helps us kind of dial in a little bit. Okay? But just remember that. My challenge, I feel like mostly everybody here is new to a Grace Revealed workshop. Anybody? Yeah. Okay. So what I love to do, what we do in all the workshops is a challenge. Once again, you don't have to do it, but my challenge is for a digital detox. So the goal is to take our phones and power all the way down. All right, I used to hand out like little Tupperware things and receive them, and then that felt like I was like a preschool teacher, like taking toys away, and I was like, "Ooh, I'm not taking anybody's phone," but you don't have to. But it's really great to just get, come all the way in and sit all the way down, like really get the most out of our time here today. So thank you for whoever is willing to power down. And then also the reason why I give these sheets is that the back is completely blank, totally intentional for you to doodle, for you to jot notes down. If something surfaces in your mind that you would normally check your phone for, typically adults can go at max 8 minutes without checking, right? So we're here for an hour, so that would be, probably at least 10 checks that we would normally like. Did somebody text me? What email's coming in? What do I have to get to? So this is jotted down if something bubbles up for you so that you can think about it once we leave here. Cool? All right, so those are for you. Okay, so topic 1 is stress awareness. Who knows the 3 types of stress? Anybody want to throw them out there? I'm going to make it really easy for you. I'll just tell you. Okay, so there's internal stress. All right, there's internal stress, there's external stress, and then there's perceived stress. I work with a lot of people that have pain inside their minds, and stress is a little sneaky demon, right? You can't really see it. Sometimes we wear it on our bodies, don't we? Sometimes we wear it with our sleeplessness, or we wear it with our hangriness. Like it comes out sideways. My husband and I say it comes out sideways. So internal are things going on inside of us. You better get this done. What are you doing? Blah, 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 right? Fear is creepy, right? I love the acronym false evidence appearing real. Our fears tell us things that just aren't true. For statistics junkies, anybody love the data, the numbers, statistics? Okay. Anybody want to give a guess how many percentage out of 100 of our fears never come to pass? You want to throw a number out there?
85.
85? Anybody else?
90.
98.
98? I think you're the closest one. 96. 96% of our fears never come to pass. All right, so do the math. What's left? 4% of our fears come to pass, and they're always way less than we imagine. Crazy data, right? So next time creepy fear comes knocking, you can be like, false evidence appearing real, get behind me, right? Worries, critical. Anybody self-critical sometimes? Ooh, I know, that's the worst. Sometimes it comes from us. Sometimes it's an old parent or caregiver from our past. It's like their voice is still in there. Like, you shoulda, why don't you hurry up, get it done, right? Anybody? Okay. That's just the voice of experience over here. And then pressure to perform, right? A lot of the times pressure to perform is internal. It can be external too, right? Shifting gears. External, we have boss, right? Where's that report? Blah, 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 blah. Colleagues, hey, did you bam, 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 whatever, right? Our colleagues are saying can be stressful. Spouse, anybody have spousal stress? Partner, whatever. Kids, whatever. They're stressful. Money stress, right? And a lot of the times money stress is fear-based. We are in if you've ever had the pleasure to travel outside of the US to third world countries, it is a game changer, right? An understanding of awareness of how simple other cultures live that aren't in a place of abundance. If you have always experienced using a toilet that is off the ground and not a hole in the ground, then that is a richness that we have to experience as Americans, right, in our culture. Wow. I am grateful that I had a mentor that took me around the world and trained me how to see beyond my own selfishness. Okay, but Money stress is kind of interesting because it's something that people don't think of when they think of wellness. Money is a mindset. Money's funny. It comes and it goes, right? It comes and it goes. It's always moving. Comes and it goes, right? Unless you buried it in the backyard, then it's probably not going anywhere. If it's on a mattress, it's just sitting there not doing anything. Perceived. What people think about me, right? Perceiving somebody's body language. I think some humans are a little more demonstrative with their reactions to things, right? You guys know, do you guys have like a colleague or somebody that's like, I can't believe that, or like, or even some of those nonverbals or whatever it is, right? But that's a perceived stress, what people think, because we don't really know what people are thinking, which thankfully, right? I don't think there's anybody here that's a mind reader. No, okay. Whew. All right. Perceived stress, things piling up, your workload, right? Has anybody gone a day with their email that they didn't get an email? Probably not, right? It's 2024. We have perceived, because things are coming up, pulling on us all day long. We don't even know where they're going to come from. We just know they're coming, right? So piling up. Perceived, right? No hope. There's a little like letdown. There's a lot of hopes that we had a few years ago that were like, ooh, is this going to get stripped away from me? Is it, you see how that is a perceived, when we get really present, we're in a pretty fancy boardroom right now, right? We even had someone went to Bojangles and purchased breakfast for us, nice and warm. I hope it's warm. I don't know. I ate before I came. You guys wouldn't want to see me in Bojangles. But anyway, things not going our way. Again, it's a perceived stress. I had a friend of mine tell me a story. One of his loved ones got in a car accident real bad recently. The car was totaled, and she got up and she didn't have any bruises. She kind of felt okay, but when she went to the doctor and she thankfully went to just get checked out just to make sure everything was okay. What they found was, they said it was definitely a miracle, no bumps or bruises or whatever. But they found that 30% of her pancreas was being eaten away by cancer. They were able to do a simple surgery and extract all of the cancer without her having to do whatever it's called, chemo and radiation, and she's completely fine. But they said had they not caught that, as soon as they would have caught it, it would have been too late for her because of where it was. All right, so car accident, perceived stress, we have no idea, right? There's always more to the picture than we can see, right? Okay, so, the key is to notice where your stress is coming from so we know what to do with it next, okay? So the simplicity about this, I'm going to wrap this particular portion up. Just making sure I'm staying on track here. Is the awareness piece, right? We all could admit that we were feeling some stress, right? Maybe some of us know where it's coming from now that we just looked at that, and you can be like, oh, things I can't control. Yeah. Or, right, a lot of these are things we can't control, right? Maybe we could get a side hustle going for more money or what, but then would that add more stress? Or who knows? But really, this is mainly what we have the power to control. I love, love, love the serenity prayer, right? You guys know it? God grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change. Acceptance is a game changer. Whew. Courage to change the things that I can change. Wisdom to know the difference. It's a boundary, It's like, I'm over here, they're over there. This is what I can change in the moment. The end. So, okay. Hey, welcome, welcome. You're welcome to sit wherever you like. We're going to do some drawings. So if you'd like to put a business card, if you have one, if not, you can make one with your name, phone number, and put a little name tag on for us, or for me. Thank you. All right, so just summarizing, we all got it, right? Three forms. Any thoughts on that? Anything jump out to you about this? The internal, external, perceived? Thank you. I know we're all still waking up a little bit.
I guess it would just be the difference of things you can and cannot control.
Yeah, right? The reason we called this stress awareness, because once you're aware of where your stress is coming from, take that deep breath again, smile, I can do something about it. Or maybe I cannot, and then I let myself off the hook, whoever's, little hard on ourselves, right? Or even if you're kind of somebody that's just like, whatever, stress. When you know it's there and you see it, then we acknowledge it so we can be like, okay, what can I change here? What can I control here? Any other thoughts? Okay, trying to memorize y'all names real quick. All right, what was your name, sir?
Tevos.
What is it?
Tevos.
Tevers.
Tevos, yes.
Tevers. All right. I don't know if I'm getting it. How do you spell it?
Tevos.
Tevos? Tevos. Okay. My name is Layla.
Hi.
Nice to meet you.
Hi.
All right. You ready? We're going to go into number 2. We're going to get into a little bit of activities now. So practical techniques for managing stress mentally, physically, and emotionally. You guys remember what I said when we started off? That sometimes I can shower you, right? I get excited about this stuff. I had a near fatal experience with burnout. I used to work in commercial architecture and construction. I woke up one day and I couldn't get out of bed. I was very nauseous. So I'd get up and then I would call my boss. I said, I'm not going to make it. At the time I was eating all the right things and I was working out, had all these deadlines, and it led to about 18 months of chronic fatigue, barely functioning, not being able to drive anymore, having to ask mostly unreliable people to get me to my doctor's appointments to see my cardiologist, my neuro team, because my heart had begun to pause, flatline. 3 to 4 seconds, about 8 times a day, right? 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi, 3 Mississippi, 4. Imagine that. I'd be here and then I'd be like, I'm not okay. Boom. My heart would just stop. And thank God it started back up again. So I'm very passionate about this because these little things really do matter for the bigger picture. Cool? Okay. Let me just peek back at my notes so I keep myself on track here. All right, so this is the doing part. All right, this is the doing part where we're gonna get into some practical techniques. But before I do that, I want you to, if you would with me, close your eyes for a moment. And I want you to picture your best self. Like picture what it would be like in your best self. Maybe if money were no object, like what would you be doing? What would your life look like if you were your best self? Okay. You can open your eyes again. You got a picture? Anybody got a picture? All right, who's willing to share the picture? Traveling. Okay, where would you go? Anywhere. Out of here.
Yes.
Isn't that funny? Get away from the beach. Wait a minute. Go to a different beach. I don't know. Okay, thanks, Yvonne. What else? What did you picture? What did you see? There's no wrong answer.
Lots of horses.
Lots of horses. Yay.
I would be doing what I do now,
Okay.
but without the stress. I mean,
Sure.
Because we do equine assisted therapy services, life coaching for trauma victims and
Yes.
veterans and first responders. So there's a lot of secondary stress that comes
Sure,
from
right.
that. And then trying to fund a nonprofit and all of that. So I think if I could do it without having to think about all those things.
Yeah. And just do your favorite part of it.
Yeah.
Whatever that is.
Exactly.
What's your favorite part of it?
Hanging out with the horses.
Yes.
And seeing people that really want healing
Yeah.
to do the work.
Right, because some people probably show up in a lot of pain, but maybe don't really want the healing or are ready.
Right.
I'm guessing.
They
Okay.
don't want to look at themselves.
Right.
Their part in it.
Oh, yes. That was the turning point for me, right? We looked at all this stress, all the things, but it started with me, right? It started with the pressure that came from unprocessed trauma I didn't even know I had until I got in a healing environment where somebody helped me with non-verbal childlike artwork that began to loosen trauma from one hemisphere of my brain to the other so I could have the memory without the pain. So there were some goats involved. There was a llama, couple sheep, wandering chickens. Anyway, I never underestimate what God can use to heal us. And I don't know another way to say that. But Holy Spirit, God of love, the universe, creator and author of everything, can use anything to heal our deepest pain. Whew. So cool. All right, so you would be helping heal people, but you would also do it with less stress. Somebody else would be raising those funds.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
No worries. No.
Right. Some songs came into my head with that one. What else? What else did you see when you closed your eyes? Anybody else want to share? Joe?
Disney World with my wife and kids.
Yes!
Nice.
I heard it's only like, what, a few dollars to go there?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
No lines,
Right?
right?
No
No
lines,
lines.
abundance. You want it to be paid for probably by somebody else.
That's it.
Yes. Okay, Disneyland, right? Yeah, awesome. What else? That's all right.
Mine is so lame.
It's okay.
More yoga,
More
deep
yoga.
breaths,
Yeah.
and cooking good, nutritious meals for my family and with my family.
Ooh.
Those are the two things that
Ooh, yes. Okay. Awesome. Anybody else? What's your name again? I can't read it from here.
Gil.
Gil.
Hiking? Haven't
Hiking.
done in a while. And it's always really good.
Yeah. The terrain is different.
It's great cardio.
The air is different. Yeah, mountain air is very healing. Love it. What mountain?
I always liked around like Brevard, that area.
Ooh,
Yeah,
mountains.
yeah, you know that's good.
Yeah. Ooh. Yeah. Anything for you?
Just think it would be nice if I have my own hotel.
You have your own hotel.
Yeah.
Yes.
Enjoy it.
Yeah. You'd enjoy it. It would be full all the time with only the best
I don't know
clients.
if it's related what you're asking, but
Yeah.
that's what I imagine.
Hey. Wonderful. Awesome. I pictured a hot tub for some reason, you know, where I would have like, I don't know, anyway, just relaxing and a mess. And then, is it Stephanie? How do you say it?
Yeah.
Yeah, Stephanie. Anything for you?
I don't know, definitely traveling, and I'm similar. I work in a nonprofit, and just having more time to get to do things for our players versus all of the things that you have to do to make sure it runs.
Yes.
Because the joy is being out there with them, so
Yes.
having that time.
Yeah. Awesome. Thanks everybody for sharing that. Huh. Isn't it amazing? They're all different. But what we could do with more time and just peace. It's amazing. Okay. All right. So this is gonna sound kind of silly, but these are back to the basics with the things that make us available to our lives, okay? For us to live our best selves are eating well, being active, getting healthy sleep, reducing our stress, and reaching out. Anybody here like to work out, exercise? Okay. I do not. It is painful.
Yeah, I don't really either, but you know, I feel you.
I have
feel you.
zero desire to exercise. I did do a kettlebell exercise this morning because it helps my brain. I will, but I hate it. Like, I am not a natural born exerciser. Like, I barely even like to go for a walk. Like, I know that there's like lots of things, but I will do it because I want to be well. And that is a question when stress gets really high to ask yourself, and please write this down. When stress gets really high, and you know that overwhelmed feeling that sets in where you're like, I can't take this anymore. One more person, I just want to crawl in a hole. You guys know what I'm talking about? Okay. Do I want to be well? To please ask yourself that question. Do I want to be well? Remember what I told you? That we were going to do some active participation. All right, this is kind of weird, but go with me here. Take one and pass it if you would, because I want to get into the doing, okay? Not just a fancy thought or whatever, but I want you to think about, this is the stuff that nobody does with you. I have not seen this anywhere. And I love to see people be well and be their best self, thriving with healthy boundaries and knowing, where I end and another person begins, right? What's the oxygen mask thing? You can't give what you don't have. You can't rescue someone first if you aren't well, right? You guys know, especially like the horses can't even give to people if they're not taken care of first, right? If they're not ready to ride or ready to host someone, right? They're like, get out of here. In my limited experience with horse ranches. Okay, so for meal planning, I want you to take a sheet. Can I have one if there's one left? Everybody got one? Okay, super duper simple. You can buy these on Amazon for super cheap, whatever, you can make your own. It's you can get an app for it. All right, this activity helped save my life. It helped me take off and keep off over 65 pounds and live in my right size body for almost 3 years now, okay? I have tried everything. Y'all know how to eat, you know what I mean? We know what's great for us. We know what's not as good for us. We know which drive-through is better for us, or quick serve restaurant or steakhouse, right? You guys don't need a lesson in nutrition, right? So I'm not here to do that. But what I want you to think about is your next 3 meals. Everybody eat breakfast? I hope so. If not, you might have to plan breakfast. That's okay. Lunch today. So we have lunch, dinner, and breakfast for tomorrow. That would be our next 3 meals. Okay? So I'm going to take a minute and I want you to just think about the healthiest lunch that you could have today. Okay? Think about it. Think about it. What I do is I start with my protein. I think about what's a protein I want. I'm going to just ramble off what I would do, and I'm going to ask you to pick a protein, pick where you want to go. So some clean meats would be steak, chicken, beef. Maybe you like a plant-based tofu or some type of soy product, okay? Cheese is also a healthy protein for us. Yogurt, right? So pick a protein. The next thing that I have, let's see if I actually brought my personal food journal. Where'd she go? I don't know what I did with her. Oh, here she is. I can show you everything I've eaten for the last 90 days, probably. I write it down. I commit it to a friend of mine, and I don't eat in between meals no matter what. But I eat big, generous, yummy portions so that I'm not hungry in between meals and that I feed my brain with quality food. All right? So for lunch, all right, so I picked a sugar-free sausage and cheese with cooked broccoli in fat. So I just picked a frozen bag of broccoli, put some butter and olive oil on it and some seasonings, if you like garlic, whatever. a salad to go with it, so some fresh live enzymes, and a fruit. I actually had weighed out a cup, 8 ounces of apple, raspberries, and strawberries. Simple. Okay? That's lunch. You guys, everybody got something for lunch? Pick a protein. I suggest a cooked warm vegetable, so that can help lower your stress. A warm vegetable can help bring your parasympathetic nervous system down a few notches. Because you guys deal with a lot of people that have the stress, even just the touch, the physical touch of the warm horse creates that oxytocin connection, right, with the skin. Isn't that something? All right, so dinner, right? We all are going to eat dinner tonight, unless you're on a special fast or something. I'm not judging, right? But usually our bodies are designed in the manner that we're going to have 3 meals. Some people need snacks depending on their biology, right? So then for dinner, you can pick, this would be a great option for me to live my best self for dinner, okay? So pick a protein. I encourage you to pick some salad. You could even pick what vegetables you want to get. I'm a big spinach eater, but I also coat it with tomatoes and cucumbers, and I love those bell peppers. I love to see the colorful stuff on there, right? Orange and red and green. You know, sometimes purple if you're like a radish fan, or you're like those pickled onions, right? Mod Pizza has a nice salad bar you can go through. And they also have some meat on there, semi-clean. But it's a nice quick way to get a massive salad that's relatively affordable, all right? So dinner, for that particular day, let's see, I did cooked beets. Not everyone loves beets. My husband throws up in his mouth when I say the word. Green beans, I love. Salad again. I save the fruit for lunch and breakfast, the way our biology works, right? In the morning, it's a nice burst with sugar. We'll get into that in a minute. So for dinner is a protein, some type of nice cooked veg that makes you feel good. Some people saute Brussels sprouts, another one my husband hates. But broccoli, green beans, those are real simple, and you can get them in a frozen section and microwave them. It only takes a couple minutes. And salad. And you find something to put on it that makes you enjoy it. All right. And then breakfast for tomorrow. I had 4 ounces of bacon and eggs. This morning I had apples, strawberries, and raspberries. And I have a generous portion. So I have 8 ounces of that. I have 4 ounces of bacon and eggs together. And I feel completely full until lunchtime. All right. You guys got an idea for breakfast tomorrow? Please write something down. All right. All right. Everybody got something down at least for lunch today, dinner today, and breakfast tomorrow? I'm kind of speeding along because I want to see if we can get in as many activities as possible. Okay, you ready? All right, so what we're going to do next is we're going to pair off into, let's see, how we got? So Gil and Shannon, Joe and Tevos, right? Did I say it right? Tevos.
Yes.
All right, so Joe and Tevos, Jennifer and Yvonne, Jen and Sue. All right, I want you to just tell them, get your sheet, all right? And just real quick, take turns. You can pick who's going to lead and who will go next, who's going to go first, who's going to go second, and just share each other what you might like to have for lunch today, dinner, and breakfast tomorrow. Okay? We're going to take about 60, 90 seconds to do that. All right, ready, set, go.
For lunch,
And then for dinner tonight, I want chicken stir fry with olive oil, tomatoes, and rice. And then breakfast, scrambled eggs with veggies.
Some propane again.
Got into a routine. Got a turkey sausage.
All right, if you haven't switched people, make sure you switch people. And then we'll come back in a little bit.
I had the cholesterol like 75. That's awesome.
I love
You
that.
change things up.
All right, you should be finishing up and come back. I like what I heard. Eggs with vegetables in it. I would put cheese on top probably. Sometimes I might put pepperoni in there too. Yeah, little dynamic explosion of flavor.
Mind-body connection that people don't realize that our stomach is our second body.
Oh yes, yes.
And I notice a difference in my mental based on what I eat.
Oh yes, absolutely. I used to self-sabotage with food all the time. I didn't even realize I was doing it. It was like second nature. If I got triggered by something, I was going to eat. I was like beeline into a certain. Yes. Yeah, absolutely. I was a salty, crunchy junkie. You know, I would eat myself food drunk. Yeah. All right, let's come back together. All right, if I can have your attention. Okay, how'd it go? Cool. All right, did anybody get some ideas off of listening to the other person? Yeah.
I say we eat pretty similar.
Oh, interesting. Cool, right? All right. And does it feel doable for today? Just for today. That's all we do. Is one day at a time. I appreciate those aggressive meal planners, but that stress me out just thinking about prepping food for like 7 days and then eating the same thing over and over. Like, I need stimulation with food. Like, all right, I don't know what I'm going to eat tomorrow, but I do know what I'm going to eat today because I committed it to a friend. Wasn't that powerful? You could have just kept it on your piece of paper. This seems pretty primitive, doesn't it? We all know eat well, but now we actually have a plan for today, what we can, and even tomorrow morning. You don't even have to think about planning food again until tomorrow. Maybe you have other responsibilities, right? I'm not minimizing, but this is a simple activity. I give myself the gift of 5 minutes a day to plan my meals. Then I can prepare for those, shop accordingly, and protect those meals because I know that is going to give myself life today instead of just, oh yeah, I'm working on my food program. Like, I've heard that before and I'm like, working on? Like, what does that mean? This is a really practical tool, right? Does it feel good? All right, I'm gonna move on. And I'm glad for your willingness to participate. Right. Okay, so that was eat well, right? We could get into all of these, but we don't have time. I'm just scratching the surface, right? This is, like I said, I love to do these practical things because then it becomes a reality. The same thing could be for being active. To say, hey, could you meet me out, maybe for you guys would be like early out if there's like a path you could walk, without the horses, just, kind of vibing back and forth and say, could we do 10 minutes? Could we do 5 minutes in and 5 minutes back? And you make a plan with somebody. That is where the power is, in connection. Funny how it works together, right? I wanted to do this activity, but I don't think we have time. But I am going to give these to you as, they're called time blocking. Are you guys familiar with time blocking? people talk about it, but when you have to really guide yourself and direct yourself to be more productive. Has anybody, yeah, some of those sheets are really thick. My printer had a mix of paper in it last night. Should just be one. I'll take the extras, thanks. But I'll talk really briefly because I want you to please take time with this when you can carve out time for yourself later. In the morning, in the first portion, when we get up, if we can exert ourselves and do some type of exercise, whether you're lifting weights, go for a walk, or even just doing body weight, movements to get your heart rate flowing and tell your body, I'm awake, I have a day to slay, right? You're physiologically telling your brain, we're gonna be productive today. So in the beginning is when we start to put out, right? We're doing output. We're solving problems, right? We are tackling the day. Toward the bottom end, when we're getting ready for sleep, is when we typically have input. Okay, whether we're checking our phone, whether we're watching something, things are going into us. Does that make sense? All right, I don't want to insult your intelligence, so I'm trying to just use this as a simple tool that a lot of the times mornings happen without planning. And a lot of the times when mornings happen to us and we don't happen to mornings, then it changes the course of our day. So I happen to my mornings by giving myself 5 minutes and I plan, protect, and prepare those meals, right? So that I can show up for my kids, I can show up for my husband, and I can show up for my business by giving myself those 5 minutes. I also do a gentle exercise. I do journaling to pump out some gratitude and to also receive maybe a word of direction for today, or maybe to journal out a victory I had the day before and acknowledge how far I've come. All right, so mornings matter. The more we can direct our mornings, the more wholehearted we can show up by the time we get to our work. When I started that meal planning, man, it feels good to go with a full cooler for lunch where I know I got the most colorful, vibrant, full, yummy lunch, because this is me taking care of me. And people are like, ooh, wow, ooh, that looks good. And I'm like, yeah, tastes good too, and it's all mine. I'm recovering from an Italian family where everything was about food. It was food, we celebrate food. If we're sad, we celebrate with food. It's like, if we're hanging out, food. And everybody picked off of each other's plates. Like, what? Who does that? That's not healthy. That is a very loose boundary. But, everybody loved with food. If you rejected the food, you were like, oh, what's wrong with that? But food's funny, right? It affects our brain. Sue and I were talking about the mind and body connection, the second brain. But anyway, so please take a moment when you have time to take a look at how your routine functions. Maybe tomorrow morning, notice, become aware of your pre-programmed things and say, how can I implement a little care for myself in my day, whether it's on the top half or the bottom half of the day. When you're inputting, when you're winding down, how can you give yourself a little bit more care? All right. Oh, I don't want to look past this one. Make time to do things that bring you joy. Anything come to mind for you when I say do things that bring you joy? Go ahead. What would you share?
Camping.
Camping.
I also enjoy yoga.
Yoga.
Yeah.
Yes. It always makes me feel more alive when I do yoga. What else? Workout. Yeah, exercise. Anybody else?
Walk on the beach.
Walk on the beach. Yeah. Always calms me down a few notches, I feel like. I am a bonus mom to two boys. They're 7 and 10, so they're in 2nd and 4th grade. Yesterday, so we have them Monday through Friday, and then they go to their bio moms for the weekend. These little guys, they just filled my heart up. They came in, I was on the phone with somebody, and Matthew, he's 7, he comes bursting through the door, and he throws his backpack, and he's like, Layla, where are you? And I was like, I'm here, honey, what's going on? And he just gave me the biggest hug. And you know, they were coming back, and Ethan, our 10-year-old, and he just said, "Layla, come here. I got something for you." And I was like, and he had this piece of white paper he was going to do a project with, and he just wanted some love. But those, man, that gives me joy. Just that connection piece, right? But please make sure to remember to give yourself that moment, right? Smile again. Smile with me. Yeah. Okay. So a note about self-care. Sometimes we do have to ask for help if you're a real go-getter and you're an independent thinker and like to do things by yourself. I am, yeah. I have learned to humble myself enough to ask for help because there's real freedom in it. And it's powerful when you have connection with another person. Just, hey, can you help me with this? Putting yourself first, asking for what you need, setting those healthy boundaries. Boundaries matter. You can't give what you don't have. We talked about that. Permission to say no. Did you ever get a request from somebody that just made you feel stressed out when you heard the request come in? It was like, ooh, you didn't even respond yet, and you're like, ugh, right? I'm going to give you, this is a really important communication tip about being able to say no when you don't have it. Did you ever say yes to something when you really meant no and you betrayed yourself? Ooh. But here's how to say no when you really mean no, and say, I would love to help you out with that. But if I said yes to you, I would be saying no to my mental health. And I would be saying no to my family. And I would be saying no to being the best employee that I can be. Or whatever your role is, right? If I was to say no to you, I'm saying yes to becoming balanced and well-rounded. And I really know that there's a better person for that job than me saying yes when I really mean no. Is that okay? Cool? Healthy boundary. It's not being rude, it's not being disrespectful, it's wholehearted honesty and knowing where your limits are. Because we all have different thresholds, don't we? My mom's 77, she has more energy and she can run around me and I'm like, how do you do that? Her thresholds are different. She can handle and tolerate a bunch of pain that I cannot. I'm a wuss, I don't like pain. Like I'll endure for a time, but I just don't like pain, I want to get rid of it. All right. Permission to say no. I, Layla Grace, give you permission to say no if you get an intruder today that tempts you to give more than you have. Cool? All right, you can blame it on me. If you're saying yes, then what are you saying no to, right? We covered that. Cool. Oh, a quote from Walt Disney. The way to get started is to quit talking and begin doing. It's funny because Disneyland came up. Quit talking, start planning. Oh, hey, put that deposit down. I don't know, I've never been there actually. I've heard magical, mystical things, but I don't actually even have a desire to be amongst the crowds. I'd rather be on a boat somewhere with like a hot tub, but I already said that, so. I got a cruise coming next week. All right. Last thing we're going to end with, thriving with wellness. Okay. This is a good question to check in with ourselves mentally. Am I doing okay? Am I doing okay? And in certain areas, am I doing okay mentally? There is so much pull on us, and I'm doing jumping jacks inside because of how many people powered down their phones and haven't looked at them, right? Because there's so much pull. But I assure you, you're going to get more out of this because you dialed in, right? Am I doing okay? This is a great graphic. And what I like to do is I'll send this sign-in sheet around. I forgot to use. You put your name, if you could spell it clearly in your email. What I like to do is send out a certificate of completion that you came here today. At the end of that is weekly wellness. So we send out just free weekly emails that encourage you with self-care. So if you want those, you can just say yes, or put a Y or something, I'd be happy to include you on that list. It's just a bump of encouragement. It's a bump of news that's encouraging, not like downer with the, negativity out there. Here's the 8 dimensions of wellness I like to focus on that helps us to be well-rounded. Intellectual, financial, environmental, emotional, spiritual, social, physical, and career. All right, this is a definition I pulled from the old internet about wellness. It's actually, why didn't I write down the source? It's from a medical authority. I don't remember which one, but it says wellness is the act of practicing healthy habits on a daily basis to attain better physical and mental health outcomes so that instead of just surviving, you're thriving. We have entered into this very weird surviving mentality. Oh, just another day. No, this is the best day. We're breathing. Hello, we're in the South. Hello, sunshine, right? Where I grew up, there was over 300 days a year that were gray. I mean, it was a recipe for depression, like straight up. But wellness is practicing healthy habits. That means you don't have to get it all right. If you goof up on your food plan, there's no like food plan police. I'm not going to knock down your door and be like, did you eat what you said you were going to eat? Some of us might need that level of accountability, but it's a practice, because practice makes progress, right? Practice makes progress at putting ourselves first. Okay, so today we covered stress awareness, right? Identifying where that stress is coming from, internal, external, and perceived. We did a little bit of doing, right? We did a little bit of doing about the techniques to manage stress, right? Taking care of our mind and our body. I didn't talk, can't remember if I talked about journaling or not. Briefly, right? Journaling is so powerful with a pen or pencil and paper. Doesn't have to be anything fancy. But I have a set of questions that I answer every day that really helps to process the day and leave yesterday in yesterday, to be really present today. And then we talked a little bit about thriving with wellness. When all of these are working together, we are just more vibrant people. We get more done. And is there any procrastinators here? Procrastinators? Okay. I learned this thing. I actually just published my first book, which is wild. It's called Relapse No More, A Guide to Emotional Sobriety and Breaking Self-Destructive Patterns. But if anybody has a book in them they're supposed to be writing, it's hard to get from, our book is just our brain on paper, right? It's just your brain on paper. But if you're a procrastinator, I would find myself procrastinating about stupid, like things that are like, why am I procrastinating if I get this done? So I got a brain hack. Somebody gave me a neuro coach that said, if you picture how it will feel when you get that task done, it'll help you get it done. So when I'm sitting down and I can catch myself, like I have a little girl that's like, I just want to go play, but I have tasks I need to do, right? So I think, how will I feel once I complete that task? And then it helps me to get it done. And then when I get done, I feel even better than I thought I was going to feel. Like, I got it done. Okay? That's a productivity hack. All right, so we talked about stress awareness. We gave some practical techniques. We even exercised some with the food planning. Awesome. You guys did amazing. We talked about thriving. Surviving, sometimes we need to actually rest, so that we can be improved. But really, the thing to matter is that our choices matter, right? What we feed grows, and what we starve dies. If we neglect ourselves, we're going to start to not like ourselves. We're going to neglect ourselves. When we feed ourselves, and we take care of ourselves, we thrive. You can see it, right? You can see it. So our choice matters. Okay. Really? Did I not put the Q&A slide in? Well, I didn't. You guys have any questions for me? Any questions? All right. We have made it to 9 o'clock. Thank you all for just participating. My question for you, right, I said if you guys didn't have any, was what was your, like an aha moment for you this morning? What stuck out or was like, I needed to hear that today?
Knowing where your stress comes from.
Knowing where your stress comes from. Thank you. What else? Anybody?
I forgot how relaxing it is to cut your phone off.
Yes, the digital detox. If that's all you did.
And I hesitated for a second when you said cut your phone off.
I saw
But
you.
it felt really good.
Thank
Very
God.
good. Thank you.
Yeah, my pleasure. If that's all you got out of it.
Well, it helped me focus and
Yeah.
pay attention to everything else.
Wow. Awesome. What else?
The blocking of time.
Yeah.
I forgot I used to have a timer on my phone
Ooh.
that says, go meditate.
Yeah.
And I cut that timer off, so I think I need to set that over again.
Ooh. Okay. What else? I'm going to get ready to do some giveaways here.